Alright guys, so now we are doing part 2, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the upgrades that I've done with this car and how they affect the experience of driving V6 Camaro. So, first off, the first thing that you could talk about is about my exhaust. The exhaust I put in this thing is just a catback mid-muffler exhaust that pretty much doesn't have mufflers. The mufflers are in the middle of the pipes, actually pretty close to the catalytic converter, and they're very small. So they make the car sound like this. Now this is with the windows closed. When the windows are closed, it's actually substantially quieter. I'll actually open up my window, let you hear it without the windows closed. So, it has a little bit of raspiness to it. It definitely isn't like a V8 sound. It's definitely its own unique sound. The cold air intake I've put in here, the Phase-Tech X5, actually made the sound a little bit deeper, a little bit throatier. Now, as far as power in this car, the catback supposedly adds a bit of power, and I actually believe that, because when it comes down to it, you're talking about like no restriction type of exhaust. There's like small mufflers that barely take up any space. There's a lot less restriction in this exhaust than in most. So I'm guessing it's adding a little bit of power, a little bit of torque, maybe. It's nothing substantial, but you could feel it. Whatever I've done to this car, the intake and the exhaust certainly did add something. There's certainly more like throttle response. It accelerates like this much quicker. I used to have to wait for it. It was almost like turbo lag in a way. And that's because it had that horrible air intake, and the throttle really just wasn't getting enough air. They certainly add sound, and they make it, it's worth it. It's worth the money you pay. I paid just about $1,000 between the two, and $1,000 to get a faster feeling car, a better sounding car, is definitely worth it. They definitely beefed up this 6-cylinder. Now, as far as, I always say fuel economy, and a lot of people say fuel economy is the reason for owning a 6-cylinder. Is that really true? Do I get great fuel economy with this thing? Well, I'm going to go ahead and try to navigate through the heads-up display here. So, I pulled up my average fuel economy for my Camaro. A lot of bumpy road here. We'll get to the suspension in a second, just because all these bumps are making me talk funny. My fuel economy is 14 miles per gallon. This car is rated at, I think, 1925 or something like that. Yeah, it's very low, and you might have noticed why it's that low over the last few accelerations I've done. I do rev it out to 7,000, because that's what it goes up to quite a bit. As far as the automatic thing, a lot of people hate that I have an automatic. A lot of people say you don't own a muscle car unless you have a manual. A lot of people don't like that I have an automatic. The reason why I have an automatic is really out of my control. I was handed this car from someone else with the ability to make payments on it without putting down a down payment, which is a great opportunity. It's a great car. It's a new car, and for my age to have a new car is a huge privilege. So I would have, oh look, a Corvette. What type of Corvette's that? It's just a C6. It would have felt like a dick move to turn that down. It's a great opportunity just because of the manual thing. To be completely honest, the automatic thing isn't a bad thing. When you jump into the manual mode and use these paddle shifters, you'll find they're pretty good. I got to admit, they're not the most responsive. I got to admit that sometimes they'll prevent you from doing what you want to do. But when you're downshifting and it rev matches, which is all automatic, there's no skill involved, it sounds great. It really makes you feel like you're in a one of those Ferraris or McLarens that have the paddle shifters, except they're of course a little more controlling, because like as you can see, I hit the paddle shifter there and it wouldn't shift. It was waiting till I hit a certain RPM. It depends on how much throttle you put down. If you put down a little bit less throttle, you'll find that it'll shift quicker, more on your control. But if you're fully flooring it, like I do sometimes, bump here. If you're fully flooring it like I do sometimes, you're not gonna get a shift until 7,000. And with downshifting, if my revs are up high, like right now, it's gonna downshift. But if I'm downshifting right now, and it won't do it. It just won't until I let my revs come down, and then it'll do it. There it is. That was loud. You gotta love that sound it makes when it downshifts. You can use the manual to your advantage. Like I can go into 4th gear right now, and I'm now below 2,000 RPMs. I went up another one, which is probably not the best at this speed, but now I'm down to 1,000 RPMs. You could really manipulate your miles per gallon in a positive or negative way. You can also downshift and get a little extra speed, you know, as you do sometimes. So, I mean, you get some of the benefits that a manual transmission would give you. You can downshift and quickly get a lot of torque and a lot of power and pass someone. I just switched back into drive though, because guess what? Sometimes you don't want to screw around with manual. And I know some people may say that makes me not a real driver, but I do enjoy the experience of driving. It's just sometimes I like to take a break from it. I mean, like anything else. I mean, if you're a gamer, for example, if you play video games, which I do, I take breaks from video games pretty frequently. And it's nice to have that option. The suspension, in terms of comfort and in terms of handling. So first off, the suspension in terms of comfort, it is very bumpy. It's probably like just a very standard suspension they put on here that's sort of comfy when you're on a flat road. But the minute you hit a bumpy road, or if you go off a road, it's extremely bad. I mean, it hurts. It's painfully crazy. But it does give you a good feel for the road in the steering wheel. I've noticed that. When you're turning, you could really feel it gripping the road. You can feel your tires. It's not as numb, the steering, as I've heard the 6-cylinder Camaro was from 2010. So maybe they improved it a bit. I'm not sure. They must have done something, because it definitely is improved. The other thing about the steering in this car, or, well, the handling in this car, is that this car handles extremely well now that I put new tires on it. Now that I have 275s in the back, this thing grips very well around the corners. Now, when I had the 245s all around, and I had smaller wheels, they weren't really that great. You could take an exit ramp with a big curve pretty quick. It definitely grips. It's definitely not Z28 level, but this is impressive for, you know, a rear-wheel drive muscle car. A car that's supposed to be notorious for bad handling, as far as most people think. Most people, when they get in this car for the first time, they're surprised a lot by how good it handles. So, you know, in terms of the other upgrades, the aesthetic upgrades, the upgrades like my louvers, the upgrades like my chrome, little things like that, the blacking out of my taillights and my side lights, and the blacking out of the emblems, everything that makes this car look like what it looks like. In my opinion, when people see this car driving down the road, I guarantee they've never seen a Camaro like that before, if they're an average person, if they don't go ahead and seek cars. I mean, if you've been to car shows a few times, there's a possibility you've seen a Camaro like this. But I would say it's a pretty unique setup. I mean, I have fully black with blacked out taillights and everything like that, which is normal. I have the chrome on the handles, which I think I've seen before. But then I got the louvers, and the louvers definitely are something that you don't see that often on a Camaro. I've had a lot of people come up to me and ask me, what type of car is that? Because they're just not sure. And I have to explain to them that it's a Camaro, and then they go, really? Because I've never seen a Camaro that looks like this. And I go, it's modified. I added some things. And this car definitely gets a few looks. I always see people looking. It's like, I feel like I see someone in a Corvette in front of me and they get no looks, and then I pass by and everyone looks at me, just because I have the exhaust, of course, the loud exhaust, and also because of the appearance of this car, because I've done a lot of things that you really just don't see on cars that often anymore. I don't really see a lot of cars with louvers. I like louvers. They're my favorite thing. They're, you know, one of my favorite upgrades I've ever done to this car. It's even more, I'd say I even enjoy it more than I enjoy the exhaust, which is crazy because this exhaust is like half of the fun of this car, isn't it? Yeah, so in terms of the appearance, lots of looks, lots of thumbs ups, and it tells you that you don't need to buy a Ferrari, you don't need to buy, you know, a Lamborghini, you don't need to buy the ZL1, you don't need to buy any of those cars if you're looking to show off, if you're that type of person. To be honest, I'm not exaggerating, and honestly I wish I was, because it does get a little annoying getting looks all the time, you know, from people, and getting thumbs up, and people asking to roll your window down, and people in drive-thrus always asking questions about it, and holding you at the light, and making a bunch of traffic behind you get pissed off. It's something that I don't really, it's not my biggest love of this car. I'm actually gonna get on the highway, just so we could really rev it out, so you could hear it. So yeah, all around this car is definitely a fun car to drive. All the upgrades I've done, I completely don't regret at all. There's probably one upgrade that I could look at and go, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. And that one upgrade is certainly, absolutely, that chrome gas cap I did. I'm gonna have to replace that with a better looking one. The one on there is just like, whatever. Oh look, a really sharp turn. All right, so we're going 50. Actually, we're going like 55. Yeah, so this thing grips. It's so planted in the corners. So, overall, I love the upgrades I've done with this car. I think I did everything right. I spent a very minimal amount of money and got a lot more fun out of this car than I think I would have had with an SS. If I bought a $33,000 1SS, I probably wouldn't enjoy it as much as I enjoy this car. And it would have costed me about $10,000 more than I spent on this car's stock, and about $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 more than it cost me total. So I think it was a smart idea to buy the 6-cylinder, to get the 6-cylinder and do these types of upgrades to it. Would I like more power? Sure. More power is always fun. But the thing is, you can't really exploit that power without getting a lot of tickets and getting in trouble a lot. You know, an SS would be great on a track, on a drag strip, if you're into that stuff, which I am, and I want to try it one day, but it's not my daily thing. I don't do that a lot. So I feel like this car does the job for me, and for a lot of people, this would do the job. This has the power of the 8 cylinders from the 90s. It has the handling of a lot of really, you know, good cars, a lot of really good handling cars.